Hello, hi, welcome to my channel Brush It Up. In today's video, we are going to travel through Singapore, and this is going to be the part 2 of Singapore. So, in the part 1, I said that there is not much typical historic architecture in Singapore. But I want to point out that is these buildings that you can see, this old Art Deco style buildings. These are actually the old architecture of Singapore, and Singapore is fairly a new kind of what do you call community. So the way we find in India, I don't want to compare at all, but this is what their historic old buildings look like, and this is the old historic architecture of Singapore, and this is the Chinatown market of Singapore. I would recommend you to visit this. And if you are a vegetarian, you are going to find it a bit difficult to find something to eat here. But there are a couple of distinct restaurants that offer you good vegetarian food. So look for them. It's not the easiest thing, but I did have my lunch here, and I got like a couple of what do you call souvenirs from here. So if you want to buy any kind of souvenirs for your travel, Chinatown Market is the best for that. And yeah, I really liked going here, and I like the shops because from the day that I came to Singapore, I didn't really see the shops that were there in Singapore, and I was like, nobody stays in Singapore, and nobody is really bothered in this place. And then I I now notice people staring. I can see people who are looking in that so I was like, I actually felt safe that people don't stare at you and they are just unbothered and they're doing their own thing. And so you can do your own and nobody is bothering you, nobody is bothered by you. Because staring is not just that nobody, that they might bother you, but it is also that they might, maybe they are bothered by you. So yeah, I made sure I didn't bother people, and I made sure that nobody bothered me. So I really did have a nice day. I took my time. I did spend one day for this Chinatown place, and I wanted to see the light show that happens at the place front. So in the evening I went for that, and yeah, so my entire day went like this. I also found some time in the afternoon to sit and sketch. So that is also coming up. So you can see that where I just sat and sketched the bayfront landscape, like a quick little urban sketch that I did. And this is where you could just go a little bit up and see the entire lane as to how the lane looks of Chinatown. And one thing that I have observed, not that I've traveled much, but everywhere that you travel there is a Chinatown, because I know there is a Chinatown in US, and I know there's a Chinatown in London also. So everywhere that you go, Chinese people manage to set up a Chinatown which has excellent food, street food, and excellent market that's there. China is essentially a market area which has many restaurants and shopping, like shops. First, let it be street shopping or like proper shops, or like street food or like proper food. And also you'll find a little India in every country that you go, because Chinese people and people just can't do without their own food and their own kind of lifestyle. So if you travel anywhere as an Indian or a Chinese fellow, I feel you won't. And if you feel homesick, there are these places to go to. And yeah, I really like going here. And actually Singapore is not that big, so by the end of like my trip I could easily navigate uh, by just seeing the landscape. So from here I could navigate as to where the bayfront area is, because I just looked up and I remembered one building, and then you keep that building as your north star, and then just navigate through that city. Then you understand that okay fine, this would be here, and so if this is here then this would be here. So that's a hack, or maybe you already know that. So wherever you travel, you, if there is a massive building, for example the way Eiffel Tower is in Paris, you consider that as your north star, and then you can navigate the entire this thing around it. And this is something I have picked up very subconsciously. And yeah, Singapore is so clean, and it is so easy to navigate. And even if your navigation skills are not that great, Google Maps is so accurate in Singapore. As to, I was so impressed, because Google Maps is not accurate everywhere. Like in India, it's not that accurate. It will just navigate you to the wrong places. But in Singapore, it's like perfect to the T. And then the public transport in Singapore is worth taking. And the buses, the trains, you just make your MRT card and then navigate through it. And I was actually a bit this by this, because I was like, they just didn't, when you're walking on the road, that people just, it's not that they stare at you, but they address your existence. But here, the people were so unbothered that they didn't even address my existence. And actually, I'm so used to getting like full-fledged stares in India that it bothered me after a while. That I'm like, these people are like so unbothered that it makes you feel a little bothered if you come from a place where people have so much time on their hands, and they are so like nuisance in their personalities that they just keep staring at you. So actually it's a good thing. But now that I am making the video, I realize that they do notice you, and they'll notice you from very far, and then if when you are close with them, if they're passing right next to you, then they'll act as if they haven't noticed you. And that's such a good thing. And this I'm noticing when I'm editing the video. Like while I was there, I didn't, every place has a decorum, and I now understand that this is one of the decorum of first world countries. And it's something that you should really pick up. Like if you notice someone, you notice them, and then when you come like close to them, make sure that you don't make them feel awkward about it, and you just you act unbothered so that they don't feel bothered by you. So this is the small little sketch that I did, and that is how I spent my afternoon. And then I took a walk from here to the place where you could actually see the light show. And that one is worth going, one that happens on the bay front, this thing area. That there are a couple of shows. One happens at the gardens that are there, and that is worth seeing. Then this one is also worth seeing. So I almost was able to catch every single this thing night light show that happens. And do go to the Apple store that's there. It's just, this is the Apple store, and just uniquely set up. It's very beautiful. And later, this is my observation after coming back. Many like first world countries have set up their bay area very similar to each other. Like Sydney, the one in Sydney and Melbourne, the Australian bayfront areas are very similar to this. And then the one in London is also like the bayfront area that they have. is also similar to this. So later when I saw a couple of like music videos and this thing, I realized that they are very similar to each other. So yeah, and then this is the National Museum that I went to, and that's there. The National Museum is really nice, I took a tour, a paid tour that tells you about the history of Singapore, and what I learned is like that right from inception, Singapore has been a cosmopolitan this thing, and it is a place which doesn't really have ethnic community. It was basically a businessman's land, and Indians, Chinese, Malaysians, all of them just inhabited this place to to make it developed, and who had bigger aspirations in their life. Sometimes I don't understand as to why India is so lagging behind when it comes to development. Like when I see these countries, I don't understand what is the huge difference that is there. I mean, these everybody here is seems whatever they have here is whatever we have back in India. In fact, our history is so rich, and we have such rich historical understanding, and we have such beautiful text, like all of that. Like we have so much backing, right? Like we come from a very strong background, then weren't we able to build on that background? I don't understand that part, because there must be a big loophole that happened. Like I do understand British colonized us, but Britishers have colonized Singapore as well. So what went wrong, and what not, let's not concentrate on what went wrong. What went so right when it comes to Singapore that they were able to accomplish this, and we are lagging so behind, and we have to catch up to that. And I don't know when we will, but yeah, we do have to, because we have so much like strong background, strong history, strong cultural past, that we should have been able to build on that and make it much bigger. And instead of like that helping us, I think that has held us back, because we didn't take advantage of us. We have used that as an excuse maybe. I don't know. And people don't really want to make our country beautiful. This is the viewing that I went to the next day. The first was day one, and this was day two. Day two, what I did on day two was I went to the museum, then I went to this thing, and you pay a ticket of like around 1,500 rupees, and then go there in the evening so you can see the sunset, and you can see the day view and as well as the night view of the entire Singapore. And you also manage to see a little bit like a hint of a light show that happens everywhere. So the one that happens in the garden, the one that happens on like the fountain kind of show. So all of that. Then once this what do you call, giant wheel also lights up in the night, so you also get to see that. So you get a little bit hint of the night show. You get to see the entire beautiful evening view of Singapore. Then you get to see the daytime also. And yeah, and you know, I usually like to travel to places which have a little bit of water element going and a lot of greenery. So yeah, I was very satisfied with this landscape, and it didn't trigger my height phobia because it was so well, like there was a glass in front of you, there was a proper this thing like barricades, so I didn't feel unsafe at all. In fact, it calmed me down. I saw the way Singapore functioned, and it was so like what do you call, organized to another extent that it calmed me down a lot, and so and it made me feel a lot safer. And that's the thing, it's not about that you are afraid of heights, but the infrastructure around you, or you are afraid of traveling into, like I'm like huge. I have a huge phobia of traveling in trains, because the trains in India have, like, the doors are constantly open and it has massive crowds, especially in Mumbai. So I was so afraid. I still am afraid of traveling in trains, and I'm afraid of heights. Because, and then I realized, even at this huge height, at this viewing deck in Singapore, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't afraid to travel by trains in Singapore, because the infrastructure is so safe that you don't, your brain is not looking for, like, the risk elements, and whatever risk elements it finds, it is like, okay, check, we are safe here. And so my brain was very much felt at ease in Singapore. And in India, it's constantly looking for those gaps, when it comes to safety, and it is all constantly on alert. So when it comes to my future, I've realized I want to be in a place where the safety is so much that it eases my mind, and that part of my brain just shuts off, so that I can concentrate on other important things. Because you can't be in survival mode constantly. Your country has to provide you with those basic needs, so that which satisfies your constant need for safety, and you feel very much at safe. I mean, it is a big failure on the part of the country that doesn't make you feel safe. I mean, safety is the most basic thing. I mean, and lately, all the things that you see in social media of the violence against women, the child safety thing. I mean, I just felt, and back now that I'm seeing this, I'm like, how did I manage to do this? Like, how did I? And I was crying on the plane to Singapore, and then when I landed there, I felt so safe. So yeah, that's the thing. That's my dream for the future, that I end up in a place which makes me feel safe, be it any place. But yeah, it's very crucial that you, even if you are able to make money, but you live in an economy which is not safe, then you are not safe. Even if you are the richest person in that place, you are still not safe. And you have to be in a place where, that makes you feel safe. So hats off to Singapore to manage to do that, even though they got colonized and by Britishers, they still managed to have such a beautiful booming economy. And there you can see a little bit hint of the night light show that happens in the garden, that I showed you a glimpse of in the last video. And that's all that I have to say in respect to my Singapore vlog. And it's a beautiful city. Do give it a visit. 4 to 5 days or like a week is more than enough in Singapore when it comes to travel. And you can travel solo. This was my solo trip. So if you want to go solo, you can go solo. Or although it is expensive, it is for sure expensive. So keep that in mind, that it is expensive. And people say Malaysia, Thailand and Vietnam would be a cheaper option. So yeah, give that a try. Malaysia is a cheaper option, and Malaysia is also very beautiful. So if you want to save money, you can opt for Malaysia. And Vietnam is also cheap. And what did I left? Thailand, yes. Next vlog is going to be on Malaysia. So because it's hardly, like, it's very close from Singapore. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.